Good afternoon and welcome to Locked On NBA Daily. On today's show, the Cavaliers continue to slide, and a new report suggests changes could be coming. But is there really any way for the Cavs to save their season? We'll talk about that, plus make our early All-Star picks coming up on today's Locked On NBA.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On NBA Daily, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. However you're tuning in on YouTube or on your podcast app, thanks so much for making us your first listen every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. I'm Wes Goldberg. Today we're talking about the struggling Cavaliers, our early All-Star selections, and then we're going to get to some winners and losers from the weekend. We're doing it with the help of Locked On's local experts. I have two of the best with me, as always, from the Locked On Nuggets podcast. He's a senior NBA writer for the Action Network. It's Matt Moore. Matt?
You should put me on screen.
Great idea.
Happy holidays to you. If you're joining us at youtube.com, you see my festive hat here. I really like deviations of Santa hats. They're absolutely excellent. Also, Merry Christmas to the NBA, as ratings are up 89% year over year. And I think it's really important that as much time as we spend talking about what's wrong with the league when the ratings are down, perhaps we should talk about everything that's right with the league when the ratings are up.
From the Locked On Bulls podcast, he's also a Bears and Bulls creator for Bleacher Report. He also covered a 300-point game last night, which might be one of the reasons why the ratings are up. It's Haize. Haize?
I think less Matt Moore on screen is actually what the people are asking for. So I mean, that's what you have there. If you look at
we'll just take me off and mute me. Our Christmas gift to you is no me.
Look, things are not going great for the Cavaliers right now, despite the holiday. They've lost 3 straight games. They've dropped to 15-14 on the season, despite being the most expensive roster in the league. According to reports now, owner Dan Gilbert is not happy, and coach Kenny Atkinson could be on the hot seat. Here's more from Danny Cunningham of Locked On Cavs.
So over the weekend, Chris Fedor of Cleveland.com reported that Cavs owner Dan Gilbert might not be too happy with the way that things are going with this basketball team. And when Dan Gilbert gets involved, I don't necessarily know that it is an all bets are off thing, but I think that when any owner gets involved in sports or any owner is frustrated in sports, that's when you could start to potentially see change. And I just want to kind of get out and say, who could blame Dan Gilbert for feeling this way right now? Like, Dan is committed a ton of money, a ton of resources to this year's version of the Cleveland Cavaliers. And for this team to be sitting there at 15-14 and looking lost as they do it, and having lost their last 3 games and 4 of their last 5 games, all of which have come against bad teams, there is zero reason for Dan Gilbert to be happy right now.
Man, I think it's pretty clear something has to change for the Cavaliers, regardless of ownership's involvement here. I don't know if a coaching change is the right call here, but I guess, before we get into any of those things, like, is there any way to save the season right now for the Cavs? Is it a season that needs saving?
Yeah, I don't think it needs. They're 15-14. Like, they're fine, right? Like, it's okay. Like, you have a strong second half of the season, you still make the playoffs. Honestly, the top 3 seed, because if we look at the standings and you kind of analyze who do you trust up top, you are going to get into some very perilous situations. Like, I think we all trust the Knicks. I think Haize and I trust the Pistons. Like, they're good. Boston's been great, but like, I think Boston's really awesome, actually. I think Boston's underrated in terms of like odds and everything else. But then, like, after that, it's the Sixers. Do we trust the Sixers? No, we do not. The Magic, I think, are getting it together, but not insurmountable. They started off slow too. They're only 2 games up in the loss column. Like, the Cavaliers are fine. The problem, I do not like scapegoating players. There is no way around it. They are 5-8 when Darius Garland plays. Think about the record that they have when Darius Garland does not play. The numbers back this up. They're minus 12 net rating when he's on the court. Like, I don't know what else to do here. Like, I do not know how else to get around this. There is no amount of context I can apply that is going to get us around this. Like, Darius Garland has been the problem. And I do not like blaming one player. Like, obviously, everybody else has to play better. But, like, that's been the issue. And they got to figure that out, and they got to figure that out quick, whether that's sitting him down, letting him get right, or moving him. But like, this is unsustainable with the team being this good when he is not on the court and being this bad when he is on the court. It is a real problem. Like, the numbers are minus 7.3 when he has been on the court, minus 12 in losses, plus 5.2 in when he's not on the floor. It's that bad, Haize.
Yeah, but I mean, Darius Garland hasn't been healthy, and I you know, like you said, you don't want to scapegoat players, but I do think there's something to be said that maybe he is still getting himself kind of in gear. He had a big game against the Bulls the other night, even in a loss, but there is something going on. I'm not saying it's time to panic for the Cavs, but there is something going on here. It's not just Darius Garland and why this team sits right at 500 with the expectations that came in and how they played during the regular season last year. That's be something more going on than just the Darius Garland situation. Now, as Matt pointed out, more than likely you're going to be able to work it out. It's the Eastern Conference. You get back healthy, you get guys all back on the same page. You can turn this thing around in the East without making a drastic move. But this isn't the first time we've heard this from the Cavs, that they've thought about, making some changes to their roster. So, I think this is just a continuation of that, and maybe this solidifies some concerns that they already had going on with maybe needing to make some changes. So while I don't think they need to make some, if they do, I wouldn't be too surprised.
So the problem I think I have here with, like, again, I don't think Darius plays basketball the wrong way or anything, but I don't know what else to do here, because it's like, I can't diagnose them. You watch them and their defense isn't horrific. Their offense isn't terrible. Like, there's no scheme level thing. It's literally, they are great when Donovan Mitchell plays, and they are awful when Donovan Mitchell does not play. And they are great when Darius Garland does not play, and they are terrible when Darius Garland plays. Like, as an indication of this, when Donovan's on the court without Garland this season, they're plus 10. When Mitchell's next to Garland, they're plus 1.1. When Garland's without Mitchell, they're minus 15. Like, I don't know what you look at. There's only 4 players on the roster with over 100 minutes played that have a negative net rate who have lost their minutes this season. That have been the minutes have lost. Rookie Tyrese Proctor, Larry Nance Jr., who is at the end of his career, quite honestly, DeAndre Hunter, who has been bad but is fine in the Donovan Mitchell minutes, and Darius Garland. Like, I don't know how else to get around this.
Yeah, but I mean, they're still 10-6 even without Darius Garland. While that is a winning record, that's still far below probably their expectations for themselves either.
Yeah, they started the year 15-0 last year. They are 2.5 games behind third place in the Eastern Conference. So the sky is not necessarily falling, although it definitely feels that way. Again, the most expensive roster in the league, and the vibes are clearly not good right now in Cleveland, which is why I think the owner is upset. But Matt, I think when you bring up the Darius Garland part, obviously he's injured. The idea of just sitting him is interesting. Just, hey, sit down, get right. This is obviously not working. We're not in a rush. And it's also only December. Maybe you could tell him that. But then again, Lonzo Ball has not been good for them. Like, who else plays in those Garland minutes? They are, fortunately, it sounds like Sam Merrill could be coming back here pretty soon. Is the answer just, hey, let's just rest Garland until he's completely right, and then start Merrill in that spot? Because you got to start somebody in that spot.
Yeah, I don't really like more Sam Merrill. This is why they really needed to retain Ty Jerome.
Yeah,
it was impossible for them to, and this has just been tough, I think. The other question I kind of have is, like, look, their one trade chip they probably have is Jared Allen. And I just wonder if there's a move to be made. And the question kind of is, like, you're going to have to get a backup center if you do that. You can't just have it be Mobley and that's it. It's Mobley and Thomas Bryant. That's not enough. So you're going to have to get another center in that deal. But I do kind of wonder if, like, that's the option here, is you trade Jared Allen. If they fire Kenny Atkinson, that's going to be an absolute panic move. I think Atkinson has been way below what I expected from him this season. Not just this season, but also playoffs last year too. But if they fire him, I just think that the season's over. Like, that's it. Like, I do not, the number of teams that have gone on to be competitive after you fire a coach is very low. So I do not think that's the move.
Yeah, no, I agree. You don't want to fire Kenny Atkinson. There's no point in firing him. Not that, like you said, not that he's done the most amazing job, but I think that is when you're telling us you don't feel there's any more hope for the season. Now, I know we've seen interim coaches come in and teams be able to still go off on playoff runs, but I don't think he's the problem or where you need to do that at all.
And the problem right now with the Cavaliers also is that they're above the second apron. So making a trade becomes really, really difficult for this team. Jared Allen's not super tradable, especially with that extension kicking in. So that's why I think you hear the rumblings of, well, if it's this hard to actually make any changes to the roster and changes have to be made, then it's easy to just fire the coach. Even though I agree with both of you guys, it's probably not the right move, especially considering that he just won Coach of the Year last year. But that would also kind of hold up an NBA tradition, I suppose, in winning Coach of the Year, and then you get fired.
Yep.
The Cavaliers do have an all-star on the roster, Donovan Mitchell. He's probably going to be an all-star this year. I would consider him a lock. All-star voting opened over the weekend. We're going to make our first round of all-star picks coming up. Today's episode is brought to you by Robinhood. Nobody knows your money goals better than you do. Robinhood puts you in control of your money with tools that work as hard as you do. Locking in on every opening, beating your PR, beating it again. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money, trade stocks and ETFs, options, future, and crypto, all on one platform. You can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools, or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself, expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. Welcome back to Locked On NBA Daily. The best way to support the show, like and subscribe on YouTube. We air Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, wherever you get your podcasts. All-star voting opened up over the weekend, so I thought it would be fun to go through and kind of make our rough draft selections. And I think maybe the best way to frame this, as all-star voting starts right now, is maybe talking about the players who we think are locks in each conference. Now, voting did change a little bit. Now we have Team USA versus the world. That's not going to impact voting necessarily, but we're going to have 12 all-stars still from each conference. But now the voting is positionless, so you don't have to go guard, forward, center. It's positionless, which does make things a little bit more interesting. But let's just start in the Western Conference, guys. I have my locks here, and I figure I could just throw it to you guys, and you tell me where I'm wrong, where I'm right. We can go from there. But in the West, I have 7 locks. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, Steph Curry, Anthony Edwards, Alperen Şengün, and Austin Reeves. Are any of those guys not locks, or am I forgetting an obvious lock?
No, I feel like those are nothing rings out to me as far as missing the lock on that one, Matt.
Do we think so? You do you have Durant on there?
I don't have Durant. I have.
So I think Durant's going to be over Şengün. Alperen's been great. I guess I don't know that there's any sort of evidence that like Alperen has been better than KD or the biggest reason why for their success. Like Alperen has honestly not been as good as I expected him to be this season. I thought he'd be like an MVP candidate, and the numbers are good. I just don't know that I would be like automatic. If we're doing the Rockets have to have a guy, I honestly still think it's probably Durant, even though like the advanced metrics are going to favor Alperen because Alperen is Alperen. But I do kind of think that relative, I would probably have KD over Alperen if we're doing just like I think they both could be all-stars, but I would probably say KD's closer to a lock than Alperen. Haize?
You think he's closer to a lock than Alperen? I disagree. I think Alperen has to be a lock, right?
Based off
we can make them both locks. I mean,
based on his place on the team, like you got to look at it like not only his playing performance, which he stepped up considerably, but also the fact that like this team is what they're doing without a point guard, and a big part of why they're able to do it without a point guard is what he's doing as a facilitator and a scorer.
So let's just put them both as locks. I think they're both to Matt's. I think they're both going to make it. Right? It's Kevin Durant.
I agree.
And I don't want to make this. The predictions part is actually less fun than who we think ought to be on the team, right? LeBron James is going to start on the All-Star team. He's LeBron.
Right.
Like, he's going to get the fan vote part of this, but that's not interesting. I think it's totally fair. I think the way Durant has played, especially over the last couple of weeks, the way that Alperen Şengün has played and what he means to that Rockets team, we could put them both as locks. So we have 8 locks. Let's do it that way. That means we have 4 more spots in the West, and this is hard, guys. So I'm going to give you my list of guys on the bubble here. Victor Wembanyama, who's not a lock only because of games played, even though games played doesn't really matter for All-Star, but it still kind of matters in terms of who you're voting for. Victor Wembanyama, Lauri Markkanen, Denny Avdia, Devin Booker, Jamal Murray, De'Aaron Fox, Chet Holmgren, James Harden, and I did put LeBron James on this list only because it feels wrong not to put him on this list. But if we were really doing this merit-based, we could just go games played and availability. I'm not sure LeBron has much of a case here, but it is LeBron.
So I will make the case as the host of Locked On Nuggets. I will make the case for Jamal Murray. I think he's got to be in, man. 25 points per game, 6.7 assists. He is at, for shooting, he's close to 50, 40, 90 this season for a team that has the best offense in the league. Top 3 seed in the Western Conference. I don't know how you get around. If Austin Reeves is a lock, and I agree that he has to be, I think Jamal Murray's got to be a lock too.
Haize, what do you think? Lock on Jamal Murray, and is there anybody else on that list of bubble guys that you would put in?
No, I mean, I wanted to try to make a case for the nature of the conversation rather than just agree with Matt. But no, I agree with his argument there. I think Jamal kind of has to be a lock there as well.
All right, so we're putting Jamal Murray in then. So that means
I don't
we have
know
3 more spots.
I don't know what to do with Booker. Because it feels like the Suns are better than we expected, and we need to reward that. And Booker's averaging 26 points and 6 assists per game.
Mm-hmm.
But the efficiency has not been there. He's shooting 30% from 3. So I don't like, it feels like their success is built more on their defense and their collective optimism. But
Brooks.
No, I'm not putting Dylan in. I love Dylan, but no, we don't want to fight at the All-Star game, Wes.
Hey, it'll probably be the best ratings the All-Star game has gotten in a while.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I don't mind putting Booker in, but it just kind of is illustrative of the weird kind of season. Because if you told me that the Suns were this good and Devin wasn't a lock, I would have been like, what do you mean? How is that possible that the Suns are in the 7th spot and they're not a lock? Yeah.
Haize, are we putting Booker in? Because I agree with Matt. I kind of want him to put him in. His numbers aren't. I mean, look, when you compare Devin Booker's numbers to guys like Lauri Markkanen or even Denny Avdia, they're about the same, except the Suns are just winning more than those teams. So I think I'm okay with putting Booker on.
But I'm okay with putting them on. I'd rather Denny personally. That's just my own personal thing. But I mean, you have a strong case to put Devin Booker on there, especially when you look at the expectations coming into the season for the team.
Here's a good one. Do we think the Spurs have been without Wembanyama for this stretch of time and have been this good? De'Aaron Fox has played 20 games, but he's averaging 22 and 6 with 40% from 3, 61% at the rim. And he's been like awesome for them. Don't we kind of need to reward the Spurs with another All-Star?
They're in 2nd place right now. You can make the case that they get 2 All-Stars. Like, are we just putting Wemby and Fox on here and then taking Avdia off? Markkanen is off, LeBron's off, Chet Holmgren is off, and James Harden is off. Honestly, I'm kind of leaning Wemby and Fox right now.
One thing we can all agree on this Christmas season: we cannot reward the Clippers with anything. We cannot for this performance.
We are an anti-Clippers podcast. That is
well, just in general. Like, if they were winning, I'd be all about it. But like, you can't have this season and give them an All-Star spot, Haize.
Not with 7 wins on top of everything else that's going on. No, you cannot reward them with an All-Star spot. They get nothing.
They get Cole. The Clippers get Cole. So if we go Victor Wembanyama and De'Aaron Fox, that means we're leaving off Avdia, we're leaving off Markkanen, we're leaving off Chet Holmgren, and we're leaving off LeBron. Are we okay with that?
I'm fine with leaving off Lauri because, again, my thought process on Lauri is he is 7-foot Zach LaVine. He's going to put up really good numbers on losing teams. I'm fine with leaving Lauri off. I do have a little trepidation about leaving Denny off because I think Denny's really important to that team. And while Portland is not like the world beaters or anything, that team's at 12 and 16 right now, and Denny's a huge part of that. And I think he's going to be a huge part of their success going forward into the future.
Jazz are 10 and 17 versus 12 and 16. Let's not act like there's a massive gap here between like the winning impact of Denny.
Yeah, but if you watch, like, first of all, a franchise shouldn't get rewarded for obviously tanking as well. If you watch the basketball games outside of just the record, you see which team is giving more effort. That is the Portland Trailblazers considerably.
Yeah, they try a lot harder and they suck more. So
are we making a mistake by only giving OKC 1 All-Star here? It's Shai. But Jalen Williams hasn't played enough games. Chet Holmgren would be the obvious next name, but the numbers, as good as Chet Holmgren is, the numbers aren't necessarily reflective of an all-star.
I think it's okay because we've given it to Gobert before, right? Like, Gobert's been an all-star.
Yeah.
So if Gobert, like, that's fine. I think it's totally okay to give defensive guys the all-star nod. It it seems stupid because they don't get to play, right? Because of this stupid game and this stupid setup. Like, we should be just talking about all NBA, the thing that is actually serious. But if we're gonna do this all-star thing, then I think Chet is I think you have to have Chet on there because, again, the biggest reason, if we ask like why does OKC win, you will say like you would say Shai would be the second thing you say, but almost everybody would be like, oh, the defense. That'd be the first thing you'd say.
Mm-hmm. So who do we take off? Because we've got our 8 locks, and then on the bubble guys that we're putting in right now, we have Jamal Murray, Devin Booker, Victor Wembanyama, and De'Aaron Fox. So who are we taking off for Chet?
Ooh, it's Booker or Fox.
Yeah,
it has
Booker,
to be one of them.
For me, it's Booker. Again, that's my own bias, but it's Booker.
Yeah, I think probably Booker, just because like the efficiency hasn't been there, and like when you talk about the Sun season, you really are like Dylan Brooks has been great for them, and Colin Gillespie's been awesome for them, and I think Devin has done a lot more than shows in the box score, but like he's a bucket getter, and the efficiency's not there. So I would have Chet in over Devin.
We're gonna talk about the Eastern Conference next, plus our winners and losers from the weekend, all coming up. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. NFL Sundays move fast, one big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift, a receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into that moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as guys heat up. You can bet next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, and every possibility. The NFL has a bunch of games on Christmas. The NBA obviously has a bunch of games on Christmas that we're going to be previewing here with a special episode on Locked On NBA Daily. FanDuel is a great place to get in on the action on your Christmas day. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast. So can you. Let's talk about the Eastern Conference. So I've got 6 locks and a pretty big kind of short list of next guys. 6 locks: Tyrese Maxey, Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham, Jaylen Brown, and I have Giannis because he was so good. And again, this isn't all NBA awards. The game played part doesn't matter, and I think he played well enough that I could be convinced otherwise, but I thought he played well enough to have him as a lock here. So any debate on my 6 locks there, Haize?
No debate for me.
No, I don't have anybody that doesn't deserve to be a lock there. I think the starting place for the next. Well, go ahead and give the next group, and then we talk about who needs to be in.
Jalen Johnson.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
That's the other guy, right? Do we just make him a lock?
Yeah, Jalen Johnson's a lock.
Haize?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, lock. I was right there.
You average almost a triple double as a power forward.
You get 4 straight triple doubles in the season, and it's not like a fluke 1 week thing. Then you are definitely in.
That's true. All right, so I've got 7 locks then in the East. So we've got our 7 locks on the bubble. I've got Norm Powell, Bam Adebayo, Pascal Siakam, Franz Wagner, Karl-Anthony Towns, Brandon Ingram, Josh Giddey, Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes, Jalen Duren, and Michael Porter Jr.
Any other podcast would have to go back and be like, oh man, we should probably put the Heat on. Like we have to find somebody for the Heat to put in there to reward them. Wes starts with 2 Heat guys. So I think here's an interesting question. Haize, who is more worthy of an all-star spot this season? Karl-Anthony Towns or Jalen Duren?
Jalen Duren.
So this is, I think, a really good one. And if you're listening at home, go look up the numbers and decide for yourself. It's 21 points for Towns, 21.5 for Towns, 18 for Duren. Obviously, Duren's a monster on the glass. Towns is actually a monster on the glass as well. He's averaging more than Duren. Duren's defense is obviously like the separator between those two. That's what kind of, I think, gets him into, like, levels him up. But I do think Towns has been sneaky really great for them. Like a lot of the advancement numbers I care about all point to Towns as being a big indicator here. Brunson's obviously number 1A. I do think the Knicks have been so good, and I actually think that their win profile is a little more solid than Detroit's, which is why I kind of lean towards, I think Towns. Maybe we just put both of them in, but I think I don't think you can exclude Towns. I think Towns has to be in.
So the option of putting them both on that would probably mean that there's no Bam, no Mobley. Because I can't imagine putting more centers on this roster. Again, it's positionless. It doesn't really matter, but also, like, it kind of matters.
I think Norm's got to get the nod.
If you're going to put a Heat guy on, yeah.
I think Bam's been great, but I think Norm's going to get the nod. Like, Bam, at this point, kind of is who he is. And the defense, it really is terrific. But, like, Norm's averaging 24 points per game on great efficiency. Like, but that's tough because, like, they play so fast, and the real reason the Heat have won games until recently is their defense. Like, this is the separation between All-Star and All-NBA, right? The All-Star selection is Norman Powell. The All-NBA selection is Bam Adebayo.
Haize, what do you think? If you're going to get a Heat guy on, split the difference between Powell and Bam.
Man, Powell's been so good. Any other year, I'd say Bam. This year, I'll say Powell. Powell's been so good this year.
So let's give it to Powell, Cat. I think we put Duran on, which means we have 2 more spots left. Siakam, Franz Wagner, Josh Giddey, Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, Michael Porter Jr. for 2 more spots. Oh, unless I'm forgetting somebody.
Desmond Bane. Powell missed time. Franz missed time. The fire rises. Like, he's been really good. I know the numbers aren't there, but I think he at least deserves a look in that conversation. I think he belongs in that discussion.
In the bubble conversation. I'm okay with that. He's basically averaging 19, 4.5 on pretty efficient numbers.
I can't believe I'm going to do this. I can't believe I'm going to do this. We probably need to put LaMelo Ball in.
How many games has he played?
Does it matter?
Matters a little bit.
I mean, we're putting in
18 games.
Yeah, and some of the other guys have only played 20. So
the kids are going to vote him on anyway. Might as well just get ahead of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many games he's played. Wes, maybe
is LaMelo All-Star? 18 games.
Sorry. No. Like, in the modern age, sure. You know what? The only place LaMelo Ball is an All-Star is And1 basketball. Bring back the And1 basketball mixtapes. He can be there.
I'm with you, man. But, like, here's the problem: is, like, they're 5-3 when they got Miller and LaMelo in the lineup. Like, when they have had a roster, they have been an above 500 team. They have quality wins. Like, I'm with you because his style of play drives me insane. But, like, the numbers are there, and this team success when they don't have this piece together roster is there. Like, I understand it, but also, like, he's averaging 19 and 9. I think
do the Hornets need to get, I guess the other question is, do the Hornets even need to get an all-star here? Because I want to go back to the Magic. Franz Wagner is hurt right now. He's played 24 games. Now, LaMelo is healthy. Franz is currently hurt, so it'll only be like 2 or 3 more weeks, and then LaMelo will have played more games than Franz Wagner. But right now, Franz has played more games. The numbers are the numbers. He's been awesome. I think right now, Franz at least deserves a spot.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with putting him in. The other team, if we're going to do LaMelo can't be in because the team sucks, even though, again, they've been pretty good when he's played. We probably got to look at the Raptors, who are top 6 in the East.
That was my next place. So I think the obvious one there is Scotty Barnes, right?
Yeah, I think it's Barnes. I don't think it's Ingram. It honestly probably should be RJ Barrett because they've been garbage without him. Like, he's like the most important player for that roster, apparently. But I do think that probably, like, Scotty Barnes, I think, gets in over. I would have Scotty Barnes over Giddey. I'd have Scotty Barnes in over any of the Bulls. I'd have Scotty Barnes in over LaMelo. I'd have Scotty Barnes in over
Bam.
We did 2 Heat.
Yeah.
You know, and
so that means if this is what we're doing, we're going with Powell, Cat, Duran, Wagner, Barnes. That means we're leaving off Bam, Pascal Siakam, Brandon Ingram, Josh Giddey, Evan Mobley, Michael Porter Jr., Desmond Bane, and LaMelo Ball. I think right now that sounds about right.
It sounds about right. Yeah, I think I agree with that.
Winners and losers of the weekend. Haize, start with you.
Ooh, my Chicago Bulls. The city of Chicago is the biggest winner of the weekend. Not only did the Bulls won 3 games in a row, the Chicago Bears beat the dreaded Green Bay Packers. We also locked in our first playoff appearance in 5 years.
Congrats.
The city of Chicago.
You guys deserve it.
What could go wrong?
Everything could still go wrong, but we're going to relish in this moment right now.
What could go wrong? I do like that the Bears fans the Bears and Chicago fans in general this season are in that space of being like, no, like, we're just happy to not be terrible. That's all we're looking for. And then you start being like, oh yeah, well, you're not winning the Super Bowl. And they're like, well, why not? Why couldn't we?
I mean, we went to a Super Bowl with Rex Grossman.
That's true. You did go to
So, I mean, you can't listen. Bears fans are gonna have their faith because like we've been through worse.
Mine's the Boston Celtics. I am approaching like getting unreasonable about Boston. They are so much better. Wes slinks off screen like slime, just slides off like Santa sliding off the roof.
That's how I feel.
I mean, they've just been awesome. They've gotten quality wins. They outclassed the Raptors. I think that's like a really big kind of performance there.
And they looked better than the Heat on Friday night. I could admit it. They just looked like flat out the better team.
Winner and lose, and a sneaky one. Memphis is starting to put it together.
Mm-hmm.
Like they lost this game the other night, but like they are starting to get it together. I think that's like something to kind of keep an eye on. The Rockets could have been such big winners. They could have been such big winners after that win versus the Nuggets on Saturday. And then they just turned around and had the letdown of letdown games versus the Kings on Sunday.
My winner is the Minnesota Timberwolves for getting a rare win over the Oklahoma City Thunder. My loser is Chris Finch, who lost $35,000 after getting into it with the refs and getting ejected in the first quarter.
Worth every penny.
Friday night. Worth every penny. He has been after it with the officials, so he had that one coming. If you like what you heard today, subscribe to Locked On NBA Daily wherever you get your podcasts, including on YouTube. Thank you to Matt and Haize for their expertise every day. Thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network your first listen. We'll see you right back here tomorrow on Locked On NBA Daily.